Hey, Insta family, it's Dr. T here on Tuesday night. I'm about an hour later than I normally am on a Tuesday, but there was a very, very important music recital that I had to attend tonight, and I would not have missed it for the world. My two little musicians performing on a Tuesday night here in Perth. So, yeah, lots of beautiful violin and singing. It was delightful. How are you, everybody? So good to see you. Lots of people coming on. Oh, and I do recognise some of the names. Some people have asked a few questions. Thank you for sending those through on direct message. Really appreciate it. So I do have some answers for you, which is great. There weren't too many hairy questions, which is good. So I'll just wait a couple of seconds till we get a few more people on. Hello, Bronwyn Hunter. How are you this evening? Lovely to see you. Beautiful to have you on Insta, part of my Insta family. Oh, how have you guys been over the last week? I've had an absolute ball. All right, so tonight, it's not the standard rapid fire Q&A that we usually do, Miss Lizzie, I'm sorry. I am actually answering questions, but you can save that one for next week. Tonight, I'm actually going to talk to you a little bit more after my big news that I shared with everybody last Thursday night about me joining forces with Monash IVF, who have entered the Perth market. As you may or may not realise, they've partnered with Pivot Medical Centre, or Pivot Fertility Centre in West Leederville, and I have joined forces with them as well. And a lot of people have sort of been going, what's going on? So there's lots of questions that have come through, and I think I'll just address them. If you do have any others as I'm talking, just drop them into the comments section so that I can address them while I'm here. But I received quite a few questions around, Tamara, please tell us you're still working at womb, and I can absolutely confirm that I will still be doing my gynecology, pediatric gynecology, reproductive endocrinology, menopause, perimenopause, endo service at womb. So I will definitely still be continuing at womb with all my amazing wombies. I must make sure that I actually put into the comments, we Team Womb are entering the push-up challenge for June. Yep, we signed up today. I think we worked out it's about 120 push-ups a day for 24 days. So we are the Pink Wombies. So if you want to sponsor us, we would love that. We're raising money for mental health and awareness for it as well. So yeah, if you would like to donate, I'll make sure I put our link into the comments section, and then I'll take some video of me doing push-ups. How hilarious. But yes, I'm still staying at womb with all my beautiful team there, our women's health GPs, our gynecologists, physio, psychologists, dietitian. Womb will still continue to flourish and grow under our vision of raising everybody up. That's what we do. We look after women and girls, everything from cradle to sunset years, in a really holistic, nurturing environment. And a lot of that I intend on taking with me when I move to Pivot for consulting. So watch this space. I guess I've had a number of people sort of say, why Monash? Why have you joined the Monash IVF group? Well, it comes down to the fact that Monash have been in the reproductive medicine and fertility arena for well over 40 years. And I actually just recently opened up their website, and I was gobsmacked at the number of achievements that this company has done over its 40 years. So it was actually established as a company back in the early 1970s. Listen to this list of achievements. So in 1973, they had the very first world IVF pregnancy. Like, that's insane. Australia was leading the charge in the early 70s with IVF. So they had the first IVF pregnancy in 1973. The first IVF baby went to the UK with Steptoe and Edwards, 1978. That was Louise Brown. She's world famous now. But in 1980, Monash actually had Australia's very first IVF birth. And in 83, they had the world's first baby born from a frozen embryo. So again, this company has led the charge since the very beginning. They had the world first birth from donated eggs in 1984. They had the world's first pregnancy and birth from surgically removed sperm. They developed the world's first sperm microinjection technology. And that paved the way for ICSI. That was in 87. I think the first ICSI baby was in 91, but don't quote me on it. They had Australia's first IVF surrogate birth in 89, the first birth from IVM technique in 1995, first birth in Australia using pre-implantation genetic testing in 1996. They actually had their Australian team achieved the first baby born from a frozen egg. So that's pretty cool. That was in 1999. And 2013, they had Australia's first pregnancy from ovarian tissue grafting. And then in 2014, Australia's first pregnancy from PGT aneuploidy, so looking for abnormal chromosomes. Amazing, don't you think? What an incredible history of world firsts and Australia firsts this company has had. So, why would I not join forces with this incredible scientific endeavour moving forward? Combine that with the wisdom and history of Dr. John Jovich at Pivot Medical Centre and the incredible depth and breadth of science and investigation in that location as well. Like it's kind of a no-brainer, really, for me. And that environment's just going to help me grow and learn and serve you guys even better. So that's really my why for joining forces with that organisation. I'm just checking some of the other questions that people have asked me. Did I see any others come through? I don't think so yet. Somebody asked the question, does that mean you're going to be affiliated with Monash in Sydney? I understand Jodie is currently under the care of Dr. Justin Tucker, who's an amazing fertility specialist in the Sydney CBD office. Beautiful office. I went and visited there the other day. And yes, it does mean that we will have an Australia-wide service. Now, what that actually means for you guys, particularly, is much more rapid access to donor gametes, so donor eggs, donor sperm, donor embryos. Now, of course, the caveat is that everything has to adhere to West Australian guidelines. It's state-by-state guidelines. They're very clear, quite conservative in WA, but very clear. But it will mean a much greater access to donated egg, sperm and embryos, which is amazing because here in WA, we have really struggled with people waiting 6 to 12 months for donated eggs, sperm and embryos. So to be able to have greater access to that, as long as they're fitting Australian, West Australian regulations. So yes, Jodie, I will be affiliated with the Monash Sydney Clinic. And we can certainly discuss the detail of that later. Now, a lot of people have asked me, when will I be seeing patients at Pivot? So here's how it is going to work. I have received a lot of referrals over the last couple of months, and we have been diligently keeping those people in chronological order of having received their referrals. You will be allocated, or you will receive a phone call in this week and next week, because it's going to take some time to get through the list. If you have already sent through a referral, we have you on our database and you will be contacted for an appointment within this next 2-week period of time. That appointment will be for July. So I will start physically seeing patients in July at the Pivot Medical Centre. Okay, yes, I'm still at womb. So if you have not already sent in a referral, what I would suggest you do is send it via thewomb.com.au. We have a special inquiries button just for fertility. You can put your referral and your request in there, and you will go onto our database, which means that you will then receive a phone call to book an appointment for July. Okay, so it's going to take us a little bit of time to get through things. please don't ring up, because you'll be told to send in your referral and you'll be put onto the database. So the easiest, quickest thing for you to do is get that referral in. Go via thewomb.com.au to our referral inquiries button to fertility, and then attach your referral there. Please ensure that if you are coming to see me as a couple, that your partner is included onto the referral as well. That's really important, particularly if we're seeing couples. So hopefully that's clear. Please don't ring Pivot, because at the moment they'll say, we're not taking any phone inquiries. Please just get everything through to Womb via our website, inquiries for fertility. Hopefully that's clear. If that's not clear, drop it into the comments and I'll try and talk it through another way. A lot of people have actually asked the question, just generally, can you move clinics? Can you move eggs and sperm and embryos? And absolutely, there are eggs and sperm and embryos flying all over the world. They stay frozen, but it's very easy to transfer from lab to lab for any material. Of course, it has to satisfy important requirements, so infection screens, and it has to be yours, and so on. So, but definitely the transfer of eggs, embryos, and sperm is fairly straightforward, but it has to go from a lab to a lab. So that's just a bit of general advice there. Somebody else asked me the question. Oh, now this was a great question. Who asked this? I think it was Bree. Bree asked this question. What's my point of difference? What's my X factor? I love this, Bree. It's such a great question. I felt like I was in an interview. What is my standout feature? Why am I different to other people? Well, I guess, and look, I think you're absolutely right to ask this question. I think it's really important for you to ask this question before you go and see a fertility specialist, because you are going to be spending an awful lot of time with them and their team. So it's really important that you gel with them and their philosophy. So firstly, I can talk to me. I'm a very holistic thinker in the way that I look after people. I try and look after the entire person. And that comes from my background. I was trained originally as an exercise physiologist. I've always had a very public health mentality. I've worked in preventative healthcare for much of my early life before I went back to medicine, and even beyond that. So I understand and appreciate the importance of looking after the whole person. And that's why I established Womb, because it was a centralized environment where I could do all of that, and the patients could be cared for in one place. That philosophy I will definitely be picking up and transferring over to the Pivot location. So it will give patients the opportunity to have that holistic management, whether it be diet, exercise, stress management, mindset, have that holistic care. And that is something that I intend on making very prominent in the way that I care for patients ongoing at Pivot. And what I love about the Monash team is that they have a very similar philosophy to me, and that is something that we're going to be bringing to the WA market. And there you will see some amazing initiatives coming out over the next 6 months to really support that holistic care of patients along their fertility journey, and I'm so excited to be able to bring that to the market. So that's, I guess, me. Then there is Monash IVF and Pivot Medical Centre. Now, Monash IVF have the most amazing genetics program. It really is second to none in Australia. They have Dr. Tristan Hardy, who is the only dual-trained genomic pathologist and obstetrician gynecologist. Like, he's got dual training in those two things. That's a really, this is one clever guy. It's very unique to have those two specialties to be able to bring to a genetics program. And Dr. Tristan has a whole team of genetic counsellors. Now, what that does is bring the genetics program, so pre-implantation genetic testing for gene mutations, in-house, so you get that supported in-house care as opposed to everything being sent out for genetic testing and sent out for counselling. The other thing too is that Monash have their own pre-conception carrier screening kit as well, and that has also been headed up and designed by Tristan too. And so to anyone who might have done preconception carrier screening, often the labs will do the screening, but the counselling doesn't necessarily go with it. It's something that's very reliant on the doctors, and doctors have lots of different levels of skill when it comes to counselling about gene screening results. And so to be able to have that all in one package in-house is actually incredibly important for patient education and patient understanding when they're undertaking preconception carrier screening. So that is really, really unique, and to be able to offer that to the West Australian market is amazing. Mackenzie's mission, which is a big project that has been done Australia-wide on preconception carrier screening, has pretty much shown to us that Australians want this, and so it is something that will be Medicare funded in the future, we believe. And so to be able to offer a program that really supports that essential step of preconception carrier screening is amazing, and I'm excited to be able to help bring that to the West Australian market. And I guess, what have we got at Pivot? Well, Pivot is the oldest fertility centre here in Perth. So it's got that greater than 40 years of tried and tested science. And it is a fully integrated centre. So everything is in one place in West Leederville. You have your doctor consultations, you have your nursing support, you have your cycle tracking, you have your counselling, you have your allied health in one place. You even have an on-site pathology laboratory. So there's no delay with getting those bloods because they're all done on site. And you've got your egg pickup happening on site, your egg collection happening on site in the day surgery as well. So everything is in one space where everyone can communicate with each other immediately because everyone is there for you. So that's really exciting as well, to have that co-location with all the services around your fertility journey. So I'm hoping that's answered most of the questions. There were some fantastic questions that everybody asked tonight. I really appreciate that. I'm really hoping the process, I know when things change can be a bit clunky to start with, but what we're hoping to do is get really quickly onto those appointments, because I know so many of you have been waiting. Get those appointments in the diary so you can plan out your life and get on with the journey of creating that family now or in the future. So if there aren't any more questions, is there anything else? Is there any other questions? Hopefully I've answered them all, or most of them. Let me see my little list here. We've talked about donor, faster access. We've talked about me and what my point of difference will be and what services we're able to bring to the WA market. We've talked about the process of coming to see me, and yes, I'm still going to be at womb. So if there aren't any more questions, guys, thank you so much for jumping on. I hope that that's really clarified things for everybody. Once again, I'm here to support you in any way that I can. Have a beautiful week. If you're heading away for the long weekend, look after yourselves, enjoy some downtime, fill your cup, and we will see you on the other side. See you soon.